It's not too bad. I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I've moved my computer into the living room.
Nice.
I had roommates move out,
All right.
and it's kind of a vibe. Not gonna lie.
Dude,
I set up
yeah.
the VR and everything, so
That's tasty.
that's pretty good. Welcome everyone to the Bear and Variety podcast.
Ooh.
We're back.
Oh,
We're better
man.
than ever,
Look at us.
and we're gonna fire right off straight away with a brand new topic. I was talking with Aaron not too long ago, and I had this crazy idea. So, like I mentioned, the VR headset is now in my living room, which I couldn't set it up in my room before. And now, I have the space. I can play VR games. And VR as a experience is kind of like, it's fun, but it's a little unnerving just in general.
A little bit.
Like you're in a suit, you're like in this headset, so you can't actually see your surroundings. You're being fooled willingly into believing you're somewhere else, and then you don't know what's going on around you at all. You are completely immersed, except for like maybe your feet if you're like barefoot standing on like carpet or hard floor or whatever. And so I recently discovered that there is a camera function on the outside of the headset. And there's a way you can see, like you can go into like this pause menu and you can actually see what's going on in the real world through that camera.
What?
It's kind of cool. It's like, oh, I need to go grab my phone and like check it, so you can like waddle over to your desk and like hold it up to the camera and be like, okay, I got a text message.
That sounds both cool and extremely awkward to use.
It's very awkward because, it's where you can have two different settings. Like you can have the screen be like an orb around you, which is kind of weird. Or you can have the screen like appear on your hand on the controller. And it's like, oh, I'm looking over here, but I have to also hold the controller in front of my face so I can actually see. But anyway, I usually end up playing VR, in the evening, like later in the day when, you're done. There's nothing else to do. And because of my living situation, I'm usually home alone, which is fine. I actually thoroughly enjoy that. But that means that most of the lights are off. That means it's dark outside. That means, I have headphones on. It's kind of spooky.
A little bit.
It's kind of spooky. I've got headphones on. I literally cannot tell if someone enters the house. I can't tell if that noise I heard is the front door closing or if it's in the game. I can't tell. And you just gotta kind of...
You just kind of gotta be there with it, yeah?
You just gotta, push forward. I'm just gonna keep waggling my arms, playing Beat Saber, and just hope
Fend
that
off the demons.
Nothing suddenly stabs me. Like... Honestly, if I broke into a house and someone was playing VR, I'd just let them be.
Dude, that's free real estate. Like, they're not going to be able to do anything about that.
No. Like, they would just keep doing their thing, and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna grab that TV, and I'll see you. I'll be seeing you.
You could take someone's computer out of their VR system, and they would not know until the game shut off.
Till it like just...
Yeah.
So... sometimes I just end up sitting in VR just because it's like, it was such a hassle to put on, and I'm done playing games, but I don't want to leave. Right? So I'm just sitting there, and now we're getting to the crux of my idea.
Okay.
I'm sitting there, and, I'm just kind of diddling around with like settings and stuff, and I'm like, did I hear something? Which, again, is a normal thing. And I hold up the camera, and I look around, and then I suddenly get this, like, this thought just pings in my head. Like, what would happen if you turned on that camera and you saw someone standing there menacingly on the other side of the room just staring at you?
Bro, that's terrifying. I don't want to think about that. Oh,
dude, it was awful. And, like, here's the thing. The only light that was on was my computer monitor and, like, the LEDs for my computer and the kitchen light. So the rest of the room was dark. And so I'm just thinking like, oh, that would make a great analog horror video.
Oh, that would.
Like,
Oh,
think
that
about it.
would.
Think about it. You play it off as just like a let's play video. Like, oh hey, y'all, I'm playing, whatever VR game, like, heck yeah, and you like just kind of follow them. They play this game, and then like they're like, all right, that was fun. I'm gonna play this game now. They play this game. And like every so often it's like, oh, like something kind of messed up. Let me look at my settings. And like you kind of hold the camera off to the side, so like, maybe if you were paying attention you see something, but like, if you're not, then you're not going to notice.
Well, I think that's the beauty of like VR is that everything's happening around you at 360 degrees, right?
Yeah.
In like the real world, everything's happening around you at 360 degrees.
I think
that would be insane.
I really hope nobody steals this idea. If you do, like, please give me credit.
All props to you, yeah.
Unless it's already been done, which it might have been. But like, I feel like that would add a new dimension to analog horror that hasn't been seen yet. Because just imagining like you're completely separated and yet 100% present in that situation.
Yeah.
So if I were to just pull up that camera and see someone on the other side of the room, like some kind of shadow demon or even just a regular person,
just like a man
who I don't recognize. Yeah, like that would be terrifying.
That would be.
And you either have to keep playing like you never saw him, or B, you got to do something, and you're not ripping yourself out of that headset fast enough before he can stab you. Well, like, it's not happening.
If you could hijack that camera function on the headset and like put just like a 3D model, like a low res, like hazy 3D model to make someone think that someone is there, like put it in their peripheral, like that's it. That's all you got to do.
Oh yeah, and like you can travel to different like areas, different worlds in VR, and some of those are scary on their own.
Oh yeah.
Just in general, some there's plenty of horror games for VR now. So like you just unnerve yourself through that, and then your brain starts to think, what if someone's like out there watching me right now? Like,
well, see, here's the thing. I've never played VR by myself. It's always been like with people around, like one at minimum, like next to me on the computer, like watching what I'm seeing and all that. I've never had that experience of just me being by myself in a VR headset, all the lights are off, and then like I'm just in a different world, like totally unresponsive to whatever's like. You're basically just lucid dreaming at that point.
Oh, dude, the worst part about all that is like you take the headset off and it's completely dark.
Yeah.
That's the worst part, I'd have to say. And I was even thinking of like ways that I could film it.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't have a camera anymore. But I was like, oh, I could just use my phone, And I have OBS. I could make this myself.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of logistical ways to do it because I actually kind of want to do it. I feel
That'd
like
be awesome.
I don't know if it would blow up. It's kind of, it's very like narcissistic to say, oh, my video's gonna explode and become super like popular. But I think it'd be a cool addition to the analog horror genre.
Right. I mean, all you got to do is put an ARG around it, then MatPat's going to find it, and then next thing you know, like, you got millions of views.
Oh, I don't even have to do that. I just have to put, like, like a book report on a desk and, like, a clock on the wall, and he's going to be like, oh, I'm going to analyze this person's background and their life. And
here's the book report.
Here's how old they were and what they're doing and what universe they live in.
He's part of the FNAF universe, all right? So here's the deal. He did this thing, and now he's just living in the thing. And then you remember that virus from that one game? He's here now. And then Scooby-Doo shows up, and everything's just all right.
Doki Doki Literature Club has now infected your PC with 17 viruses.
Wow. Incredible times. Oh,
and
man.
That is what we're talking about today, folks. Different concepts.
What a concept.
You like that intro? You like that intro?
That is a good intro. I enjoy that intro.
Today we are going to discuss different concepts that Aaron and I have had in various points in our lives, whether it be a dream we had or like a thought for a movie or a game or a story, literally anything, like a plot, something that we have thought of that we do not have the power to create now or probably even in the foreseeable future.
Ever? Yeah. I mean, hey,
probably ever.
there's been lots of those over the years. I mean, we started very young at this and just kind of daydreaming as kids and being like, yeah, this is my thing and everything. And like, we used to run around as breakfast food themed superheroes.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember that?
I remember that. I do remember that.
Dude.
I was Bacon Man.
Yeah, you were. You were basically just Spider-Man that shot really, really long strands of bacon.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You ever think about how like we would do that, or like other kids do that, or even other people do that, and you could be perceiving them as something a completely different way than the other person? Because like I always pictured you as Bacon Man, and you just like, it was basically just like bacon strips everywhere, and then you'd shoot bacon strips and it'd be one long strip, but you could perceive that as many tiny strips in one long strand, and you just really never know.
That's actually what I did. I perceived it as a bunch of little ones.
That's crazy.
I actually did.
That's crazy.
And you were Captain Donut.
I was Captain Donut.
You were just Captain America as a donut.
Yeah. He was just kind of fat.
Which is interesting because, like, the donut would have a hole in the middle, so as a shield, it'd be pretty ineffective.
It would be. That's funny. That's just good. Oh. But yeah, I mean, like, I remember there was a project that me and an unnamed friend, may he rest in peace, we would like go back and forth about, and this was like our creative project. And it was basically just like a dystopian world where like things go pretty all right in the future, but like there's this really bad underground, and we called it like Cataclysm, and it was this like it was this like cyberpunk-esque kind of dealio, and like I really enjoyed working on it.
I think I still have access to that Word document.
Yeah. I mean, it was really just like a bunch of different characters that we were like workshopping, and then like we had like a storyline kind of planned out. And like what I really liked about that project was they each had like some kind of ability, but it wasn't like a superpower. It wasn't like a crazy, oh, I can like fly or I do this. They were just somewhat enhanced by like whatever means. So like there was a character, I forget all of their names, but there was a character that like
I have the document up right now, actually.
There's a character that could like, he was very strong, like, but he was very strong because he didn't feel pain. He wasn't actually like superpowered or anything. So he would like hit something super hard and break his hand, but he wouldn't realize it because he just didn't feel that pain. So
yeah,
like,
see that oh, I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, go ahead.
But like that was the thing that I liked the most about this concept for a story, like TV show, movie, whatever it was going to be.
Yeah.
Was that all of these characters had abilities, but they didn't have the ability to withstand that. I remember specifically you saying like superpowers have two parts, and people don't actually know this. It's the ability to do the thing and the ability to withstand doing the thing.
Yeah. Oh man.
So like
that's
Spider-Man.
A pretty good quote.
That's what you said. I remember.
I don't remember saying this at all.
And it was like, Spider-Man, he's got super strength, but he also has the ability to actually, survive having super strength.
Right.
Like, you can't, stop a bus and leave that uninjured. Like there's that whole aspect of it. It's like Wolverine, his bones are made of adamantium, so he's super strong, but at the same time, his bones are made of adamantium. So like, that's not really a good example, but like,
yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's like, yeah. And then like, I remember one of my favorite characters, he was like the recon scout, like kind of sniper of like this like Black Ops group that had been assembled. And like, he had enhanced eyesight to where he was really good at like seeing things very far away, but he could never forget what he saw. It was like an extreme photographic memory. So he would see the people that he was killing way far away, but he would remember every single second like watching that. And I was like, ooh, that's really good. I like that concept. But I don't know. It's just like, it's so much fun to just kind of do these things and dream about them.
Dude, I'm reading this.
Yeah,
right. This document, and apparently you guys had given like everybody it's like, oh yeah, this character would be played by this one.
Oh yeah, we did that.
And my character, the description starts, wears helmet, has a small penis. Ben's character. So like,
I forgot about that. I know.
wow, guys.
I don't think I wrote
that's
that.
Awesome.
I don't think I did that.
Probably not.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you did. But that's
what was your character? What did you do?
It's Thomas F. Hart.
Oh yeah,
Thomas Fart. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did.
I don't know what these are. Blue, Echo, Heart of the Team.
Oh yeah, it's like they all had like different code names based on what they could like, kind of like their ability, or whatever.
Transferring consciousness makes suggestions to people's minds like a minor telepath. He gets migraines. That's his downside.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Wow. Way to go.
Interesting.
He's basically
that was
just
pretty
an
accurate.
Empath, right?
Yeah. He's just an empath.
He's just an empath, man. He can really just feel it.
That was pretty accurate to me, though. I did get a lot of migraines when I was younger.
You did. I remember that. That was terrifying.
It was the worst. I don't get them as much anymore.
That's
knock on
good.
wood.
That's
but
good.
like, it's mostly because I haven't hit my head super hard on anything.
Hey, that's a good thing.
That's what would cause my migraine every time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I really think, and we're not alone in this. I guarantee there's millions of people all over the world who have ideas and have concepts like this.
Oh yeah.
And don't have the power to do anything about it.
Right.
And some of them are better than others.
Yeah.
I'm sure some concepts should never have been made into movies and have been. And there are plenty more out there that should be made in the movies that will never be, you know? Like apparently the guy who made Squid Games, he was trying to get that out there for like 5 years, I think.
Oh yeah, he was working
Like,
on
he'd
it for
gone
like
to
10 years.
Gone to a bunch of different studios and no one wanted it until finally he got his break. So like
It takes a lot. Man.
Oh yeah. And I think, we between the two of us, there's plenty for us to talk about.
Oh, definitely.
Like Project Cataclysm.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Piece of cake.
I did really like working on that. It's kind of like way outdated now, and I wish I had more creative input on it, but
I loved hearing about it.
Yeah.
It was so cool because it actually, the way you guys talked about it, it was like I could see this actually becoming a thing, But we were always like that with all of our projects.
Right.
We got super in depth with the story and the characters and the plot, just like environments. Just because the creative process itself is fun to do.
It's really fun. Get creative, people. I remember like all the Star Wars videos that we used to like do and like lightsaber fights and everything. And it reminded me way back in the day, I had a friend and like we made like Jedi characters together. And mine was like kind of just a straight ripoff of Starkiller in his like Sith armor. But like Inspiration, yeah. But like I remember he had like a lightsaber in his forearm because it was like robotic and it would come out through a hole in his hand. And
so Assassin's Creed too.
Essentially, yeah. But like the hilt would, so it would like deploy and then like he'd have it. And he had like a little switch so you can make it longer or shorter.
Oh, that's cool.
But like,
I think keep going.
I was just going to say like Star Wars concepts are so cool, and if you haven't, check out Star Wars Visions because that's literally what we're talking about.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Just that 100%. Kind of stuff.
My biggest inspiration growing up was Star Wars and still is.
Oh yeah.
And personally, I've written like tons of, I wouldn't call them fan fictions, but that's what they are.
Yeah.
They're all fan fictions.
Fan fictions just get a bad rap. Not all of them are sexual.
Yeah, I don't like to call it that. I don't like to call it a fan fiction, but that's what they are. But like, I remember I wrote one in 5th grade. It was like A Clone's Life. It was like
I remember that.
10 pages long.
Yeah. All those projects we had to do.
Oh yeah, like written in like 4th grade. It was super bad. It was just like, oh, I went here and then I shot a thing and then everyone died and then I went here and then I shot a thing
and then everyone died.
That story was just based off like the original Battlefront 2, just like me playing it, Yeah, I don't want to take up all the time. Anything else you have to talk about? I feel like I keep taking from you.
No, you're good. I just like I remember At one point, I was like, when the MCU was very early, I remember I was like storyboarding like how I would want to see like the X-Men join the MCU.
Wait, how early was this? Are we talking?
This
Are we
was
talking
like
phase one?
This was Age of Ultron just came out. And I was
Okay.
like, how could this happen? How could this happen? And I remember I think I still have a picture. It might be on my laptop of just a file called "So Cap walks into a bar," and it's literally
That sounds very familiar.
yeah, it's literally just like a poorly photoshopped thing because like it's all just like it was just like one of those fun things that we used to do in like PowerPoint.
Oh, I love those.
And all that, which reminds me of all my PowerPoint things that I made, my PowerPoint presentations.
You made
Just,
a lot
like,
of those.
stick people fighting because I was bored, and I remember my dad coming in and be like, "Hey, you need to get your grades up, otherwise I'm not allowing you to do that anymore." And I was like, "But why? I'm not bothering anybody." I'm like, what do
I
you
remember
mean?
I copied you. I did some myself.
You did, and I got really upset about it because that was when we hated each other.
Yep. Call back.
Hey, but yeah, it's just I don't know. It was a creative outlet.
Yeah. And it was a really lazy, like not high quality, but I didn't think it needed to be.
No.
Because it was just getting it out there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like that's the part of the creative process that rarely happens the most. Is just getting it out there.
And I kind of went into that. I made a video going over my Stickman comic that I'm in fifth grade. Not to plug or anything.
Everyone go check it out. It's really good and funny.
My YouTube channel is linked in this YouTube channel's whatever bit.
My favorite bit of the video is when I pooped blue and yellow in our church. Yep, that's the one.
Wait, did you want me to answer?
No, it's just a little tidbit for you to put whatever the heck you want in there.
Oh, okay.
You can
cool.
edit me saying like I don't know, like the time when Ben pooped his pants in 5th grade and everyone laughed at him.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, that didn't happen. That was a concept I made up. Surprisingly.
There he goes.
It does remind me though. Are you done plugging your channel?
No, I was just gonna say I made that video going over that old stuff, and one of my main points in like the summary was like, creativity coming up with these ideas doesn't have to be good. You don't have to create a masterpiece. It's just about getting an idea out there. Yeah. It's about like letting your creativity out in any form, just for fun, for fun's sake. Because if you watch the video, the story is so bad and like all over the place.
I thought it was
and there's so many plot holes.
Oh yeah.
And I'm releasing another one soon. But like, yeah, art does not have to be perfect. Your story does not have to be perfect. Especially if you're just doing it for fun. Just get it out there, man.
Do you think Van Gogh knew every brushstroke that he put on there intentionally? No, he's probably just like, I hate that thing. I don't like it. Doesn't look like a starry night. What the heck am I even talking about? It looks like a tree or like a bush that I just painted blue and yellow. Like, what even the heck is that? That's not art. And everyone's like, amazing, fantastic. Make a display, project it on a whole room. Let's go.
Well, you
millions
like
of dollars.
Couple 100 years later, but
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Still.
Yeah, that's true. People appreciate it eventually.
Oh, yeah.
It does remind me, though. I remember I had a dream one time about a game to play. And I don't know if you remember this. We did play this. I had a dream one day one night, rather. My apologies.
one day.
Yeah, right? It was a daydream.
You daydreaming there?
I remember I had a dream that we were in our church at like our small group that we had at the time, and we were running around like the children's like ministry area that's like all decorated and stuff to look like a small town. And we were like running around everywhere, and we were scaring each other, and we were spooking each other. And like I was like, oh my gosh! I woke up in like a cold sweat, and like the fires of inspiration fell on me, and I was like, oh my god, we got to do this. We got to make this real. Like this came to me in a dream. This has to be something that's going to like blow everyone's minds and be like incredible. And then like we got there, and I was like, what's a good thing that I can call this? And I was like, scaranoia. It's like paranoia, but you get scared. The whole goal was just scare each other walking around, and then who could make the other people scream the most won. It was all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best, but hey, I got it out there.
Didn't that evolve into Jason?
No, that was like
No.
that came because of Jason.
Ah, I see.
Which Jason is another fun topic of a game concept that we had. It was basically just Friday the 13th in real life.
We did talk about that in one podcast very briefly.
Did.
Very briefly, but we did talk about it.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I think dreams are both the best source for material and also the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'll get both ends of the, oh, that's really cool, and that makes no sense. What was I on
Right.
when I went to bed?
What happened?
Sides of that. But one of the stories I wrote that came from a dream was where is it? I have the Google document here. It was the Padawans of Creo 5, as we had called it. And basically, I had this dream where there was this Jedi Master, and he's on this planet somewhere far away, and he's got 5 Padawans with him, and he's training them, way out there as like, I don't know, I know why now because I've like elaborated on the story since, but just to get to the core of the dream, basically he's training these 5 Padawans, and there's like a thing happens. There's like a Sith or something, and they're chasing him. They all have to chase him, and they're jumping over buildings and like, typical like city chase stuff, like almost like a superhero movie kind of thing. And
Just lots of hardcore.
Yeah, basically. And they end up losing him. They end up losing the person they're chasing. And they're like, all right, well, we'll find him next time and we'll get him. And they head back to wherever they were training, and their master's gone.
Oh, frick.
Turns out he got kidnapped by this Sith Lord or whatever. And it's up to these 5 Padawans, these 5 undertrained, like emotional, like unhoned, like, Jedi to go save their master. And like this, I just remember this dream so vividly because it was such a cool concept to me. And I didn't end up getting too far in the writing process.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh, that would be super interesting to see. Almost like a Teen Titans kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, where like it's these really young people who have powers, and without their like leading figure, or without a leading figure,
like what do they do?
It's up to them to figure out how to like balance power and like work together as a team,
right,
to like save this person.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that sounds sweet. I'd watch that. I'd watch that TV show. Hey, Lucasfilm, hit us up.
Hit me up. I wrote like a scene.
I'll slap my name on that and receive credit for something I didn't do. I mean, hey, let's go.
And like, I made a whole document listing out the characters' names and like personality traits and like everything. I listed out the 6 main characters, those being the 5 Padawans, the Master, and the Sith Lord.
Yeah.
And like, I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't get too far in the writing because writing blocks are the absolute worst.
Right.
And if all you have is a concept and not much more to it, then it's kind of hard to, it's kind of hard to keep the story going.
Oh yeah.
But I think with like outside help, with someone else's eyes on it, you could definitely get somewhere.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I think like I'm trying to like write some form of like EP or album or something that I'm like working on. And like I have so many like concepts and ideas for like songs and all that. But like it's learning the songwriting process has just been like a bit of a struggle because there's like so much that I just feel like I don't know. But like you get like an idea for a song and you're like, oh, I want to talk about this. And it's just like, how do you condense all that you're going to talk about into bars and phrases and like keep 6-word stories moving throughout that so that it's like cohesive yet fits in like the time signature and like, all that kind of stuff. And, and like, you have like a good word count and it's like any concept really could function in any form of media. It just has to be written and honed in to fit into that like bottle or jar that you are putting around it.
Yeah, especially if you like if you're trying to put out something to be good.
Yeah.
Because I don't want us to I don't want us to step on our previous message being that like if you're just trying to create, just do it. It doesn't have to be good. But if you are going to like, you know, make it like a movie out of it or a song out of it, like something really big and professional. Like obviously put your best foot forward,
Right.
and hone that. But if you're just creating to create, which is what most of these were, you know, and I'm sure if we had wanted to make it a step higher, we definitely would have
Yeah.
honed it and made it. You want to put your best effort out there and you want to show what you can actually make.
Oh, I'm sure we would have. And like I definitely agree that like there's a separation between creating something and just putting it out there. Like look at any of the Elsa does whatever videos on YouTube for kids, you know?
Gross.
Like they made something and just threw it out there. Like they throw it up everywhere and it's just like whatever. But like any first thing you do, it's not going to be that great. Like let's be real. Like but you're going to get better with time. You just got to keep it up. And like I see our concepts going from Captain Donut and Bacon Boy, Bacon Man. Sorry, I
Bacon
forgot
Man.
his name.
Even though he was in 5th grade and 10 years old.
He's a man. Then to like things like, your different like Star Wars projects and like Cataclysm and like your analog horror VR video. Just like clearly there's growth there.
Oh, 100%. When I did my Stickman thing, again, don't mean to plug that again, but that is related. It is related.
It is.
You know, reading that stuff again, I'm like, okay, this is how I used to think when I was younger. And at this point in my life, I am still writing the 3rd one because I never finished it. And I'm like, yeah, if I'm going to do a video on it, I should probably finish the story. And I've noticed this really like sharp shift in the storytelling because obviously my brain is much more honed and I can tell a better story.
Right.
But there's this shift where, you know, the drawing gets better and more detailed. The plot stops being like, oh, let's go over here and do this thing because we want to and we're superheroes. You know, it starts being like, oh, there's a reason for that. And like, oh, he just retconned this thing and actually made it make sense. And it also got quite a bit darker, not gonna lie.
Yo,
like,
Stickman kills
like,
people now.
Well, it gets to like this final confrontation with the villain of the 3rd one. And he's like, all right, you know, he's kind of been getting his butt kicked this whole time.
Right.
And he gets there and he's like, all right, this is the final showdown. I'm gonna actually like, this is it. And then he actually gets his butt kicked again. He gets pretty much destroyed.
Oh,
like
he gets Spider-Man?
Pretty much, yeah. He gets Spider-Man.
Oh god.
You know, there's a bit of mask tearing in there. Ooh. Like he gets bodied, and it's kind of dark, you know, because he has this like super awesome entrance into the room, and it's like really sick. And then he's like fighting off these robots, and then the villain is like, all right, I'll do it myself, and he just wrecks him. And it's like, hold on, this is the same comic where like he gets abducted by aliens and then falls back to Earth and is like, huh, this happened. I'm a superhero now.
He's like, oh god,
I guess I'm a superhero. It's just crazy. And I think
surviving
that just comes.
re-entry is no problem. Yet
Nah,
one man
you just get
bodied.
You just got to get punched by your equal and opposite.
That's true.
You know, but yeah, it's just like that is 100% a sign of like growth and change and understanding of how like stories work and how characters develop and just what makes a good story. Like, you know, if he just went in there and just kicked his butt and was like, all right, I win, like, that's not super interesting, which is what I totally would have done in like 5th grade.
Right.
But now it's like, I can make this really interesting if I make him almost lose. Like Avengers Endgame. It's like they're right at the end. Cap's shield breaks Like,
dude, it's just hopeless.
What do you do?
Right.
But then seeing them succeed is all the more meaningful, and it's like it's even cooler to see at that point.
Yeah. I think creative concepts are so interesting that like anyone could do it, and like without like the legal whatever, it's just kind of like, it's just neat. It's just neat to like think about that stuff and create something and do something kind of wild.
Yeah, just have an idea, like.
Yeah, I mean, like we used to write comics all the time when we were younger.
True
and,
that.
like, that'll probably be a future episode. We'll bring on a special guest, hopefully.
Hopefully, that's the plan.
And then, oh god, do you remember that period in our lives in like 7th grade where everyone in our class for like our English contracts projects that we had to do, where we had to like sign a contract saying we do this and this and this and this, like a selection of different like writing prompts or whatever, and like everyone would just write stories about our entire class going on a crazy adventure and then all dying.
Oh yeah, dude,
that was nuts.
Literally one kid wrote an apocalypse story, and like apocalypses were hot at that point in middle school.
Well, it was 2012.
Yeah,
it's kind of prime apocalypse time. I mean, you could look outside now and be like, hey, but like 2012 was, we were ready to risk it all.
Listen, it was a cool apocalypse. Like the world was exploding. Like that's cool.
This is just a real one.
And like one kid wrote an apocalypse story, and he's like, I'm going to include everyone in my class. And then everyone, it just struck a chord in everyone, and everyone was like, oh, that's awesome.
Well,
and
I think
everyone proceeded to write an apocalypse story with the whole class.
I remember there was a Hunger Games themed one where we all killed each other. And like, I remember I wrote one where like we were all trying to just like survive on like a raft, and like the rain was on fire and like crazy stuff like that was happening. And then, like none of us compared to the one that started it all, but like, man, it was a good time.
It was honest. Like I remember I wrote one. I don't remember what happened, but they were all just kind of like, it almost was like a power trip of like, if the world ended, like we would hijack a bus and we would all drive together somewhere and like survive in the woods. Like it would just be, it was just like us living out dreams and adventures. And it was great.
It was cool because like everyone in the class was included. Like no one was left out.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Everyone had like a list of the entire class, and they were just like, all right, this person, they get swallowed by a bear. This person lives because we like them. Like,
and then the teacher was like, all right, if you want to include other people in the class in your stories, you got to get their permission. And it was like, but that's a lot of people. I don't want to do that.
Wasn't it literally like one person stood up and said, hey, can I write a story about all of you? And they were just like, everyone said yes.
Yeah. I remember that. Oh, yeah. I guess I could just rattle off, because we're getting close on time here.
Oh, yeah.
But I could just rattle off a couple story concepts that I had real quick. There was one. So I had, besides Stickman, I had tried on numerous occasions to create other stories, other universes.
Right.
And now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if they all like connected and were in the same universe, because multiverses are hot now.
Right.
But like, I remember I wrote one about spies and like secret agents.
Oh yeah.
And I got as far as like the character creation, and I wrote maybe a page or two of drawing, but I don't know what it was at that point. My brain was had too much to think about. There was too much of a concept.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I want to do all these grand things, but I don't have the skill to draw it yet.
Right.
So like even in the crappy like stick figure kind of thing, like very lazy. Like I didn't have the skill or the patience to draw it, so I never did.
Right.
And then I this other comic I was going to make, because I gave up on the Secret Agents one. I had a dream where it was you and me and Ren also. It was the three of us. And we were all going to like wizard school or something.
Oh.
And keep in mind,
Wizard
I'm not really
101.
I'm not a fan of Harry Potter.
Right.
I've seen the
Yeah,
movies
no,
like
you're not.
once ever. Um, and like I didn't really watch like Wizards of Waverly Place or like any of that magic stuff.
Uh-huh.
The closest I got was like Lord of the Rings.
Right.
So like in this dream, it was like the three of us. It was kind of like a college experience, even though at the time I had no college experience. But like we were all going to wizard school, and like we had like our own dorms kind of thing. We were all living together, and basically, I don't remember much from the dream, but the thing that struck a chord with me the most was like you got really angry, and
Oh.
you're like, what was it? Your major, I guess, in magic was like necromancy.
Oh, frick, dude. What?
So it was like Aaron got really pissed off, and I remember like turning to Ren. I'm like, dude, what happens when Aaron practices necromancy? And he's like, bad things. So like,
Oh, jeez.
like I don't think the dream proceeded very far beyond that. But like just the idea that you got so angry that you like reached down to the depths of your abilities and like went crazy
I just pet cemeteried everything because I was mad.
because you were angry.
Right. Hey.
And like I elaborated on the story a bit, and there was like it was going to be like a mystery type thing because there was like, oh, there's like a magic crystal and like it's underneath the college, but like how do you get there, and like who did this thing, like, you know, it was kind of like an adventure mystery type deal.
Yeah.
It was gonna be cool, like exploring an old ancient college with like
That'd be
secret
cool.
rooms and whatnot.
Yeah. No, that stuff's super fun. It's good times. Fun
Again,
times.
that one didn't get very far, so like
I mean, hey.
it was an idea.
Yeah. That's all that matters. Oh.
Do you have any more ideas?
I don't know. I mean, I can't really think of anything. I'm sure there is some, but like I'd have to go like way far back.
Oh yeah,
Like different things. I think we covered like the bigger ones of like the things that I was like super into, and I was like, oh, I gotta do this. Like this is
I'll
it.
do that.
This is my idea.
There's a really stupid another apocalypse story in my Google Docs I'm looking at right now that I wrote half a page and stopped.
Nice.
I always wrote them like scripts too. I'd always planned on like, oh yeah, we're gonna film this and make it like a YouTube show.
Just one class in an apocalypse. That'd be funny.
Basically. I mean, oh, I had Tales of a Modern Day Jedi. That was another story. I wrote a whole season. I wrote a whole season for that, actually.
Wow.
I don't have any of it on this computer, but like,
yeah, that's my biggest problem. I don't have like anything on my computer.
I just have like the season 2 episode 2, like 1 page of writing. Yeah, I wrote like a whole season's worth, and it had like an arc and everything. Oh
Dude.
man, that was a story. It was a self-insert Star Wars story. We're just going to say that now.
All right.
Basically, yeah. I can just like summarize real quick. Like basically, Star Wars comes to our universe, and there's like Jedi and Sith, and they're fighting over normal people, and they're like brainwashing them. And it's up to me, the new chosen one, to save the day. Basically, that's what it was.
Oh, I have a thing of the Dude Wave skits. That's a document that I have right now.
Hold
Let
on,
me
is
just
that-
let me
do I
just
have that
read.
one?
Let me just read this. It says clue in a car, murder on the Buick Express, Pancake Olympics, the car ASPCA, Ian get the money out, Taco Bell in parentheses, bad/useless life hacks, and then Social Security card voodoo doll. And that's all that this says.
I'm looking at it right now.
I can see
my
a little
goodness.
cursor in there.
I remember the clue in a car
I don't remember anything.
one. Basically, the idea was it was an entire murder mystery. It was supposed to be a comedy,
Oh,
but it was like
gotcha.
an entire murder mystery that takes place in a
In
car.
a car.
The whole thing. It's like you're just driving along, and then like the lights turn off, and then it turn back on, and someone's murdered, and they're like, "Oh my god, who murdered him?" And like they have to figure out who did it when clearly it's like a guy next to him or something.
Gotcha.
The rest of these, I have no idea.
Social Security card voodoo doll is something. Yeah, I have like none of my old documents, but
Yeah, I mean,
you know, I had a document named Ralph, which I would just word vomit into, and like
Ralph?
something. Yeah, his name was Ralph. But yeah, that's about all I got.
Dude. Yeah, I think that's all I have too.
Yeah.
Just trying to look and see if there's anything else. Everything in my Google docs is just like schoolwork and projects and
I have a bunch of
crap.
school paper and like sermon ideas and starting and all that.
It's hard to sort through all of it because most of it is like
I got my resume.
stuff I'd never open again.
I mean, hey, I don't think we'll ever top that Irish bit that we had. So, you know.
Yeah. Praise be to the Irish bit.
Praise be to the Irish bit.
Rest in peace.
All right. Well, hey.
At the end of the day, create stuff, man.
Yeah.
Get those concepts out there. Do something.
It's fun.
You know, don't steal any of our ideas. We will
sue. We will come for you. Don't know how, but we will.
I'll call my lawyers. Plural,
Yeah.
multiple lawyers.
No, yeah. We'll get the Wiener fleet on you. There's a callback.
Ooh.
Nothing compares to the
All right.
time I dreamt about a man boiling hot dogs in a Starbucks. Except that really happened. And the icy machine was broke. And then, yeah. That's the topic for another time. We'll talk about that next time. That's what
There
we'll
you
do.
have it, folks. That
All
was
right.
the episode, Bear and Variety Podcast. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and do all that jazz. We will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.